And hello, everybody. This is MJ Hernandez, also known as your wingman for the only show that covers your Oakland athletics for the Baseball Podcast Network. This is A's Weekly. Good to have you guys back here in the show. 13th episode. This is just incredible to live and just incredible to be a part of. So we have a good one here, folks. We're going to talk about some stuff that's adjusting to the roster, more possibilities coming in near postseason, how we've been doing lately, and we're just going to try to reach in all this amazing stuff, having a lot of deep discussions, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this, and we'll be back after the break. This is Athletics Weekly. And as anybody knows, that is the young, famous Latino artist Cuco, who is just rising up these great views of superstardom in his young career. Well, the Athletics, back to the A's. We are 77-56, probably the best that we've been all year with the record 21 games over 500. Still 1.5 games behind Cleveland, 1 ahead of Tampa, and 5.5 ahead of Boston. Now, what do the A's do? What do the A's have? What do the A's need? It's going to be a tough one. Regardless, you're going to face either Cleveland or Tampa, who are both respectable teams. Cleveland having the big time lineup, as you all know. Just Francisco Lindor is there. Who else is? It's Yasiel Puig helping out that big time. Lineup. Carlos Santana is good again. You got to respect what Cleveland is. They are still winning games in a very respectable rate. And the top 3 wild cards, no one's giving in. No one is not understanding that this is the time to win. This is not the time to start losing, start having bad stretches. One bad stretch can literally take away your postseason dreams for the year. So Cleveland has been holding up their own. Tampa has been holding up their own. Just a great team Tampa is. They're going to be great for the future as well. Very, very, very impressed of what I've seen with Tampa this year. And a lot of people thought, they just got off to a good start. And they're not going to just hang out. They're going to get hurt or whatever. It has been happening that the injuries have been affecting them, but they are still only 1 game behind the wild card spot. They are still in it and have plenty of baseball left to play. The Boston Red Sox as well, you do not want to feel too confident that you are 5.5 games ahead of Boston. As you know, Boston can get streaky, but all 3 of these teams are facing some sort of injury with their team. Cleveland, they just got the news that Jose Ramirez is gonna be out for a while. Carlos Carrasco is actually back with Cleveland. I think he's going to start this weekend. But Boston as well with Chris Sale, who got injured, one of their best starters, if not the best starter, which is pretty debatable, I guess. I mean, he had a rocky start in the beginning of the year, but kind of bounced back into that, coming back to his old self. But Boston, if Boston does go to the wild card, what will they play with? Last year the bullpen was set with Craig Kimbrell and Joe Kelly, and you could just keep on going with the list. And there's just guys that are not contributing as much as they should this year. So Boston's interesting if they do make anything happen. But Tampa Bay, I think, is the team that I'm most worried about. They have the pitching, they have the hitting. And they have the bullpen, most importantly. Alvarado is, I think, right now one of their worst pieces, and he's amazing right now. But the Oakland Athletics, the next 3 games, they are facing the New York Yankees, which is going to start today at New York Stadium. I think the LA series that's next with the Angels 3-game series is going to be at Angel Stadium, and then the 3 against Detroit. One of them, they might do a doubleheader type thing, because remember earlier in the year a game was rained out. And then they were scheduled to make up that game. So technically all year we've been saying Oakland has one more win. But you never know what happens in these makeup games. Something can happen where you can't score or something, and they're scoring, and they get back and get the W. But the Oakland Athletics are definitely looking forward to making up that game, because that one game can help out a lot. That one game can only have us half a game behind Cleveland for that last wild card spot. And what have they been doing lately? The Oakland Athletics recently just beat the Kansas City Royals in a 4-game series, 3-1. Won yesterday and lost its 3rd game, which Kansas City is a respectable team. We saw Jorge Soler being the big threat that he was once thought out to be with Chicago. He did really great. We saw what Whit Merrifield was all about. I think he had like 7 hits in the series, which has been incredible. But much respect to Whit Merrifield. Another one that I liked was Nicky Lopez. Nicky Lopez was doing some good plays at shortstop, and it's been impressive what he can do. I mean, not shortstop, second base, either one of those two. But I was really impressed with him. And they still have Alex Gordon, who's not too bad. The pitching is somewhat horrific. That's probably one of those things that they do need to fix. But the bullpen has been okay. It hasn't been the worst bullpen. They have some good pieces that can be good in the future, but things happen. So they go in 3-1 against Kansas City, 0-2 versus San Francisco, which was really bad. I mean, they really should have came up scoring, and it was just a series where the pitching just beat them. At least one of those games they should have won and tied the series, but San Francisco took the Bay Bridge series this year. Much respects to San Francisco. And then they won 3-1 against New York. Now, 2 consecutive 4-game series that they went 3-1. What can this mean? This can probably mean, you know what? This team can probably compete in a big postseason type series. Because whenever they go in a 4-game series, they cover some ground. One 4-game series that's going to be very important this year is the one against Houston at Minute Maid Park. That's really going to determine what we have, what we don't have. That's the make or break series now. There's only 2 more good games or good series in my eyes that I can see, they're must-win series. That's the one with New York that's coming up, which is today. And then there's the one against Houston that's after Detroit. The good thing today with New York, we're coming off of a good offensive series against Kansas City. The first game we beat Kansas City 19-3. We all know Seth Brown made his wonderful debut, and we'll talk more about that later. But before facing New York, we're doing a pretty good offensive series with Kansas City, which should help the offense, hopefully get them on a groove. And if we do end up dying down a little bit with the Angels or something, and then before facing Houston, we do have Detroit, which is the worst team statistically in baseball with the worst pitching. So that can probably help out our offense with that. So hopefully there's a lot of interesting things to look forward to in these series, and a lot of good things to look forward to, and what we can provide as an organization and try to make this wonderful postseason run. So far, we are hanging in there. We are in if the season were to end today. But we all know that baseball is hectic and is unpredictable, and let's see what we can do. Now, the news that has been in the headliners for the Oakland Athletics. Let's go with one of them. One of them was sending Nick Martini for assignment. Designated for assignment was Nick Martini. We all know how important he was last year. He was a really clutch hitter, came in situations where he needed to be on base, and he did it. Nick Martini was DFA'd to make room for Sheldon Neuse, who just got promoted from Las Vegas, the number 8 overall prospect. who is having a monster type year, batting .317 with a .389 on-base percentage and a 550 slugging percentage as well. And he's been playing second base for the last week and a half. So that's something that's interesting. I mean, a lot of people can say, you know what, why didn't they let go Corbin Joseph? Probably they see something in Joseph. Why didn't they let go of Tanner Anderson to make room for him? Right now, it's not the time to let go of pitching. So that's one thing. But Nick Martini was claimed by the Padres. So we'd just like to thank Nick Martini for everything that he has provided. So it was Noisy up, Martini down, or designated for assignment to make room for Seth Brown. And then Seth Brown was also called up earlier in the Kansas City Royals series, which has been phenomenal. I mean, he's been pretty good offensively and defensively. Already had a good defensive play that really made the highlight reels for the week. But Wei Chung Wong was the one DFA'd for Seth Brown, who was also not in the 40-man roster. And a lot of people were complaining about this because the 40-man roster is going to expand September 1st. And these two are good candidates regardless if they wouldn't have got called up during this series. But what I do see is what these guys can do is really help out this team offensively and defensively. Seth Brown is not a bad option. He does basically what Nick Martini does in a way, but he hits for more power, noisy. Reminds me a lot of a player that can hit and get on base and do all the good stuff offensively. And I'll be hearing that he does not play too bad in second base. He did play it in college, didn't really play it much in his professional career. But so far, I mean, he does have a great arm. Plays shortstop, third base as well. So he's very versatile. So that's another player that we're getting that's versatile. Possesses pretty good power, 20-plus homers. And this is their time. You know, I mean, Sheldon Noisy was very, very big favorite of being let go or traded away for pitching. Never happened. So was Seth Brown. You can make a case. But Sheldon Noisy was really, 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 really popular. And these trade talks didn't end up moving. Now he gets his chance with the Oakland Athletics. So what is exciting about this? We're seeing all these players that we know can make an impact in the MLB be given a chance to do something. And this is the exciting part. We see this all the time. We got excited with AJ Puck against the other New York series that we had. And then we're going to see this with Luzardo coming soon. We're going to see this a lot coming in with also Sean Murphy, a good catching prospect. We're seeing this with Seth Brown as well. Last year with Ramon Laureano, which was a big surprise. It's just incredible. It's incredible. It's fun. You're seeing these young talent being able to be a part of this wonderful organization and trying to make this team as competitive as possible. But it's their time to shine, you know. And what is Seth Brown and Sheldon Noisy going to be? KD is on paternity leave. He is going to be gone for a little bit. Chris Bassett is going to be placed on paternity leave as well soon. And I'm expecting Sean Manaea to take over his spot while he's gone. Chris Bassett is actually having a pretty good season. One of the more reliable starters for us, which has been pretty good to have in Chris Bassett, and wonderful to see him keeping it healthy, keeping it straightforward to the point, and really appreciate Chris Bassett. But with KD on paternity leave, who has been struggling a lot, who's only had 2 homers in August, is going to open up a spot in